County Councilmember Kristen Mink. Very excited to be here today for the bill signing of Bill 3125, which is going to ensure that residents as well as the county receive notifications from landlords about eviction dates, at least 2 weeks in advance. This is a dramatic change from what we have seen over time, where residents can have tremendous uncertainty over many weeks and months, and it can be very difficult for them to make judgment calls about what to do about moving to a new apartment, about as they look for their new job, how to get the timing right, whether they have time to move belongings into storage. The uncertainty leads to a lot of devastation that many of the community members here have seen or even experienced firsthand with belongings on the streets and people out in the cold looking for housing. So here in Montgomery County, I am very proud that we are going to be moving forward and proceeding in a different way. These notifications, making sure that residents are informed as well as the county, means that not only will residents have some opportunity to plan in advance, it also means that the county, DHCA, and HHS will be able to step in and help to prevent many of these evictions. And I firsthand have seen them do this work when we are able to get that heads up in advance, and our county partners and our county agencies are able to step in and make contact with the residents. These evictions can often be prevented, whether that is moving funds and resources to be able to help them stay housed, or helping them to find a new residence and get safely moved into a new location. And that's what we want. We have the goal of having no evictions, nobody being put out on the street. There is just no reason to have that. Every eviction is a set of policy failures, and here we are working to get those numbers down to zero. So very excited to turn it over to our county executive, Mark Elrich, who has been an enthusiastic supporter of this bill from the start.
Thank you. You good? Okay. Just want to make sure she feels comfortable down there. So thank you, Councilmember Mink, for introducing this bill, and I want to thank the co-sponsors, President Stewart, then President Stewart, Councilmember Juando, Council President Natalie Fanny-Gonzalez, and then Councilmember Gabe Albernos, along with Council Members Lutke and Sales, for your support in moving this forward. And I'm really pleased to sign the expedited bill today because it reflects our values in protecting tenants and preventing homelessness. Time is a defining factor in every eviction, and when you're facing eviction, every day matters. To find new housing, to access resources, to protect your belongings and your dignity. And I think of it, for most people in Montgomery County, going out and renting a truck would not break your back. And you probably have a driver's license. But if somebody else who doesn't have the means has to figure out, how do I find a way to move my belongings? That can be a real challenge for people. It can be a real challenge either to put together the supports, find a friend who can help you, and 6 days is often not enough. When somebody has to put their belongings out on the street, which is, I hate every time I drive by an apartment building and I see these stacks of people's furniture, their lives out on the street, in the rain, in the snow, that's brutal. And maybe we ought to think about the mandatory requirement that storage be provided, because this is not just the loss of your home, but then your belongings are damaged. If you're not sitting there all night, your stuff may very well wind up gone by the next day, and there's nobody there going to sit there and guard it for you. So this is really important. The difference between 6 and 14 days is meaningful. It's certainly, for a lot of people, will buy them the extra time they need to make plans. Those days aren't just time, though. They're also the difference between accessing rental assistance. And we have programs in Montgomery County that can help people avoid displacement. You may get evicted, but we can help you find other permanent supported housing. We may be able to find you another place where you can rent. We've got programs to support temporary rent. All those things require you having the time and knowledge to find out where you can get support from, and then getting it all done in time to avoid getting thrown out the door. So the more time you have to do that, the less likely that you're going to wind up displaced, or that if you are displaced, the less likely you're going to wind up not being able to find another place to live. And that's what we want to make sure. If you're going to go through this painful experience, it should at least be as painless as possible to find the next place that you're going to call home. And this bill will help people deal with that issue, I think. Evictions are on the rise in the county. In FY21, we had 254 evictions. FY25, 1,362 evictions. That's more than 380 families every single month facing the loss of their homes. Our shelters are already full, and homelessness is expected to continue to increase. With shelters at capacity, we cannot wait until families are on the street to help them, and this bill lets us intervene. These efforts to prevent eviction-related homelessness are more important than ever now. Evictions are not just about losing housing, you lose everything sometimes, and that's the real challenge. And, again, adults can be separated from things they're attached to probably easier than children can. Taking away a kid's toy, particularly when they don't have many toys, is probably a lot more traumatic for them than the loss of things that an adult might face. But it's painful and difficult enough for everyone. We also know that the Black community members are disproportionately impacted nationwide and in Montgomery County. It's true. Black residents comprise 18% of the county's population. They count for 45% of renters who received COVID-19 emergency rental assistance. So they're much more likely to be displaced, and that comes again from incomes. Racial disparities in incomes, whether Donald Trump wants to believe the world is real or not, that's a real thing. And it makes a difference in people's ability to stay in a rental property. What we're trying to get out of this at the end of the day is we want everybody treated with dignity. We want to recognize that stable housing is the foundation for everything else a person does: employment, education, health, community. Could you imagine trying to manage a job while you're homeless? And if you have kids, try to manage a job with kids and maintain employment or try to get employment when you're homeless. That is a big lift for people to make. To use every tool we have to prevent our neighbors from becoming homeless is the least we can do. And we're going to try to do as much of this as we can. And one less child who's forced to change schools mid-year is one less child who's losing their sense of community and attachment. So you did a really good thing with this bill. I am really excited that it's in front of me, and there's always more to do. So carry on.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Councilmember Will Jawando, who at the time that we got this bill started was Vice President of the Council and was one of the very first people to say, absolutely, I want to sign on and sponsor this bill and make sure that we get it over to the finish line. He continues to be a real champion for renters. So, Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you so much. I want to thank my teammate and good friend, Councilmember Mink, for putting this forward. It's great to have colleagues that get the importance of making sure all of our residents have what they need. And Councilmember Mink has been a champion since she got on the council, even before she got on the council, and has continued to be that before. Thank you to all the amazing advocates. You've got Jews United for Justice and Housing Justice Montgomery, Progressive Maryland, CASA. You're going to hear from a representative of those groups. I know we also have the Enclave Tenant Association, these two great folks, right, these little kids right next to us here, the amazing advocates. And we needed that because, even though this bill had good support and it did pass unanimously, there was a kind of 11th hour attempt to weaken the bill. And that we were able to, to fight back and that's how a lot of these things come. They're like, oh, it's just a tweak or it's just a thing. No, you need the maximum amount of time in this situation. Time is not your friend in an eviction situation. And that's not to even mention the many, many folks who self-evict, having grown up in low-income housing, having seen an eviction notice on my door before, just the notice puts fear into you. Even when you have the months or the process in the courts, a lot of people just don't even understand the law and they just move preemptively. And so the idea that this bill will add some time and some communication between our housing office and all the nonprofits who help so that we can try to keep people in their homes is really critical. The best way to reduce homelessness is to not have people be evicted. And when you get to the eviction point, as was said, you're in a really tough space, and it's really hard to pick up the pieces of your life, and you can lead to a further downward spiral. So we're hoping that this will be one of the many tools that we use to decrease evictions. I'm proud that this same group up here, many of them were advocates for rent stabilization, which also is a way to keep people in their homes, not let them be priced out. It's also something we tied to habitability. We saw the largest drop in troubled properties ever because we tied rent increases to your ability to get off of that list. And we've still got a ton of work to do. But the fact that you saw that 69% decrease in 1 year, it's because people said, oh, I want to raise rent, so I'm going to get in and fix these places up. Because this is not just about having a place to stay, it's about having a habitable, safe place to stay. And that's the work that we have to continue to do together. So while we're celebrating this today, I'm excited about it. We've got to remain vigilant. Justice requires vigilance. There are people who want to roll back a lot of the protections that we've passed, including rent stabilization, and we can't let it happen. So we're going to need this group and many, many others. But this is another important step towards saying that we care about people. We're not going to let folks be evicted, and we're going to increase that amount of time and communication between government agencies so that we can get in there and help people as quickly as possible. So thank you again to Councilmember Mink and to all the advocates. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'll note that as my colleagues have also noted, that there are two critical components of the bill. Again, there's the time extension, so that the state level, they passed a bill, and with the assistance of many of the advocates who are here as well, who even made this possible. So actually, huge thanks for that, first of all. And so the state bill requires a 6-day notice to the residents. And it allows for jurisdictions to extend that to 2 weeks. So we extended it to 2 weeks, but we also added the component that requires the notification of the county as well, of DHCA. And that is a really critical piece, again, because that's what allows us to move the resources and to make sure that we are supporting people to try to avoid the eviction. And then if the worst happens, that we know where they are, we know that we can meet them there, we know that we're gonna make sure that they are not unsheltered for that night. Critical component. So I know that there are going to be jurisdictions across the state who are looking at similar bills, and I'm glad to be on the front end of this, and hopefully what we will see is a pattern of other jurisdictions who make sure to include the local government notification component as well to really maximize the benefit of this bill. Next, I'm excited to bring up our Montgomery County Sheriff, Max Wee, and I know what many of you might be thinking out there, that it would be pretty unusual to have a sheriff who would be speaking at a bill signing that has to do with reducing the number of evictions and with reducing homelessness in general. But I just have to share that Sheriff Wee and his team have really been champions of trying to reduce the number of people who actually end up on the street despite having to do the job of the actual eviction. So that has to do with working to communicate with the county where possible, so that, again, it's a win-win if we can make sure that that person is either able to stay or is able to move ahead of time. The Sheriff's Department has limited resources, and I know that they have many tasks to do aside from evictions, but I very much appreciate the efforts that they made and that the county made that really showed us that type of communication in any dose can be incredibly effective at limiting how many people are left unhoused at the moment of scheduled eviction. I think that really helped to set us up for understanding what this bill needed to look like. So, Sheriff Wee.
Thank you, Councilmember Mink. So again, my name is Maxwell Wee, and I'm the sheriff here in Montgomery County. And I just wanted to express that I certainly support this extension in time under this bill. For those that are unaware, it's already been mentioned, the Sheriff's Office is the agency that is in charge as the law enforcement arm of the courts with facilitating these eviction orders. And I will add that certainly no deputy, no one in my office ever wants to displace a family. But our job is to ensure that these court orders are served professionally and compassionately. So I'm supportive of this additional time if we can get our stakeholders and resources to a place where it meets the needs of not only our landlords as well as our tenants it's a win-win for everyone. So I just want to applaud the members of the County Council, certainly Councilmember Mink, our county executive, and so many advocates, because we are a community and we're all working at this together. And if we can find alternative areas that we can all thrive, it certainly makes our job, and as law enforcement, we can focus on other things. So thank you so much for being here today.
Now, I think everybody's favorite part of the program, we get to hear from the community members. And again, as I mentioned, this all started with a state bill being passed that enabled us to pass this legislation, and that was able to get done because of the advocacy of community members, because folks stepped up and shared their stories and made sure that we got this done and that this bill got over the finish line intact. So here to talk to us a little bit about why this is so important, we have Harold Hill, who is an East County resident.
Thank you. I want to start off by first, I think we need to give Mark Elridge, Shawil Jawando, and Christian Meeks a very big hand. This is not possible without y'all, for real. And I appreciate y'all for supporting your residents and seeing us through this, you know, with a professional and equal balance with the community and your work. So again, my name is Harold Peanut Hill, community builder. It is a profound honor to stand here today on behalf of the residents of Montgomery County and on behalf of every family whose voice often goes unheard, yet whose struggle deserves to be seen and understood. I would like to begin by expressing my deepest appreciation to the county, to Montgomery County Council and Mark Elridge, like I just did. Thank you for your steady leadership, honestly. Thank you for your compassion, and thank you for the commitment you have shown to the people of this county. I mean, this really means a lot to me. I've been through a lot of struggles in this conviction thing, stood by side with my companions, my soldiers, my foot's on the ground in the streets. They do an absolute good job with the sheriff's department. They do. So this bill arrives at a critical moment where we are at the holiday season, a time where families would be focused on just togetherness and peace. Yet I personally know 16 families that are facing evictions just before Christmas. And for them, this legislation is not abstract. It is not technical, it is not political. It is hope, it is time, and it is dignity. To the council members who worked tirelessly on this bill and the executive, Mark Elridge, who guided it forward, I want to say directly and clearly, you did a good job. You did a good job. You did a great work. You acted when the moment demanded actions. And you showed that government can listen, government care, and government can protect the well-being of its residents. You listened to the stories we shared by families. You listened to the voices of the community leaders, and you also listened to the property owners and the corporate housing partners. I know that was a hard job. You ensured that no one was dismissed and overlooked. Y'all did. Y'all did. I sat right there. You know, some good things were said and some bad things were said. But because real progress requires every voice at the table. Real progress happens when we choose to understand over division. As a community builder and as someone who has worked in the community health and outreach for many years, I have learned something that guides me in every room I stand in. Real leadership is not about choosing sides. Real leadership is about building bridges. Today, this bill, Montgomery County, is building one of those bridges. For far too long, many policies across the nation has been rooted in outdated structures. Some of these policies are 100 years old or more. They no longer reflect who we are as a modern and diverse community. Some of them have caused harm, especially to communities that affect race, color, and religion. These outdated systems often push families towards homelessness simply because they were not given enough notice or enough time to act. This bill changes that. This bill gives residents time to seek resources, time to plan their families, time to reach out for help, time to prevent a crisis before it becomes homelessness. From my work in community health and neighborhood engagement, I know that time is one of the most powerful tools we have. Time saves dignity, time saves stability, and time saves lives. When a resident knows what is coming, they can act. They can connect with services, they can ask for support, they can breathe. And with this bill, Montgomery County is sending a clear and compassionate message. We want our residents to have that chance. We want them to have that breath. We want them to stay on their feet. This is not just policy, this is humanity. In the words of the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we are reminded that justice is not only founded in great speeches or grand gestures. Sometimes justice is found in the simple act of giving someone enough notice to stand back up, enough time to protect their families, enough time to respect their maintain and their dignity. Montgomery County, y'all have showed this, and we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harold, for your continued leadership and support of the community. Next, I am honored to bring up the president of the Enclave Tenant Association, Tania Chestnut, who has been those boots on the ground, helping to, when she finds out about evictions, helping to move folks towards county resources, and then when she sees evictions actually helping, her and the rest of the Enclave Tenant Association spring into action, helping to support folks on the ground. So she and the rest of the ETA have seen up close the damage that happens when folks do not have enough warning, do not have that predictability, and the upsides when we are able to get people the resources that they need in time. Tania?
I am not going to read from my phone or paper right now because lots of things has already been said. But once again, my name is Tania Chestnut. I am the president of the Enclave Tenant Association. We are part of Progressive Maryland, and also I'm part of Housing Justice Montgomery with these shirts here. First of all, I know this has been said, but I want to say it again. We did this. We did this. So happy. We pushed it through. Thank you. Council members, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I have one major thank you that I want to give is to Councilmember Kristen Minks.
Yeah. Yes. Boots on the ground, always.
You have been there for us, day, night, early morning, whenever it is. If it's given the clothes off your back to tenants, you have been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to thank you and your team because without y'all, this cannot be possible.
Right.
So thank you. Also, I know we have the sheriff's team here. Thank you. Thank you. They work amazing when it comes to evictions. I know A lot of people will say, okay, why are we thanking them? But once again, we do want to give thanks because we have worked greatly with them to make sure people stay in their homes, make sure people get information. If they need to pay something at the last minute, they work with us. So thank you. Thank you. And also, all the organizations that are here that has helped us. Here at the Tenant Association, we actually need everybody. There needs to be a task force at almost every complex so they could do this. We want to help tenants. We don't just help people at Enclave. We could get out and help whoever needs help. That's what we do. We know. We know. We have been there. We have been there.
Yep.
Okay? So if we could have these task forces at other locations, you help so many people. We have seen tenants outside in the rain, in the heat, snow. These are things we want to prevent. We try to get to them as soon as we know that they're going to be evicted to try to prevent that. If we could get them over to HHS, get them into another apartment building, whatever it is. We don't want anyone out on the street. So I'm asking everyone, if they can, please try to help as many people as possible. If you need help, get in contact with your council member. I'm sure they will assist. If you have any questions, of course, we're here as well. But we help everybody, and we'll provide any information that we have. So we want to thank, once again, everyone that made this possible, because it's been so much. I'm sorry. I think I'm just going to end it there. I'm sorry. This has been a lot. It's been a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So organizers who have seen a lot,
Yeah.
who have seen a lot. And so working with them on legislation to make sure that our policies are right and are going to make sense on the ground is tremendously, tremendously valuable. Before I close and we shift over to the signing itself, I just have to give a huge shout out to my team. Chris Wilhelm, my chief of staff, is here, and Ana Martinez. Ana Martinez, who is forever as well, boots on the ground, and she's out of town today, so she wasn't able to be here for this, but she is sending her best, and I told her that she would certainly be in the thoughts of so many people today because we know the kind of incredible work that she does. So thank you so much to my team. And now we are going to turn it over to Mark to sign the bill. All right, so let's shift down.
Make sure that each one of you can have a unique signature, because I never signed my name.